Hello and welcome. I brought you this video as quickly as I possibly could. I've just received my copy of October's White Dwarf magazine. I'm trying a different format. In this format, I've already unwrapped the magazine, had a quick flick through, so I get some kind of idea of what's included and give you a more sort of in-depth look at the magazine. I wouldn't call it a review so much because I haven't had a long time to digest the information in here and read the articles, but I definitely think it's going to be better than just a sort of unwrapping first initial impressions. So this is what the front cover looks like. If you don't look at many online news and things, then you might not know that this month's releases, or part of September and then a few weeks of October, will be the Gene Steal Occult. So they've gone full circle in a way. They had the Death Watch Overkill box set in February, March time, and then they released the Death Watch over the past month or so, and now they've got they're spending time on the Gene Steal Occult. So this is the second issue of the sort of revamped, reworked White Dwarf. For some reason I looked on Games Workshop the other day and a subscription for 12 was £120. I thought that was a typo. I don't know why that was, but it's still, I think, £60 for a subscription. Although you don't get a free miniature with the second issue, you do get a free comic. It looks pretty cool actually. I like it, and it gives you an introduction to Titan comics. Yeah, page wise it's the same, 148, similar to the old version, 3 years ago, but obviously in a bigger format. So without further ado, let's have a little look. So the main sort of story in here is all about the Gene Stealers. They've got a new editor. His name's Matt Keefe. He's got his little signature there. He's taken over from Jez Bickham. Jez is no longer on the team, what it doesn't look like. So there you go. We'll go through this. So there's some sort of advert and introduction to the Warhammer news, Planet Warhammer they're calling the news, and this new faction. They're getting their new codex, which is out this weekend. If I get my copy this weekend, then I'll definitely put the review up on Saturday, but if I get it on Monday, which is unfortunately what's happening at the moment for some reason, I'll have it up there on Monday. So what they've got is they've got quite a few new kits, and they've got this new, the lighting's really odd. I'm going to have to just change position a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately there's not much I can do about the lighting and things. I'm going to just have to tilt it up slightly and give you sort of close-ups and things, but it's probably best if I do that. So this is the new sort of assault transport. It looks like one of those Toroxes on steroids. I mean, it's a beast. It's a Goliath. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. You've got an event calendar, throwing of skulls, things like that. Here you go. So you've got this Brood Coven, which is £37.50, and it includes Patriarch, the Magus, Primus, and some little familiars. In a way, the way I see it is 3 models and then 2 tiny little models for £37.50. I think that's quite a lot of money, and you're obviously still way better off getting the Death Watch Overkill box set. This is the Goliath. First kind of look at it. First, I've seen some little pictures online and things, but I really like it actually. It's got a very Total Recall feel about it, which I'm a big fan of. Love the film, love Arnie, and obviously, like this sort of high vehicles. I mean, we don't see many vehicles in 40k with tyres. So it's nice to see one of these sort of civilian / mining vehicles that isn't military based, that's been changed to to suit the needs of the cult. One of these will set you about £35, which is a lot of money. I was expecting somewhere in the region of 30, but it does have this quite large sort of dozer blade or rock grinder. You can build it in the 2 patterns. I'm liking the rock grinder a bit more, although I do like the auto cannons on the standard truck. Again, this has plenty of potential for you Orc players out there to kit bash this, paint it red. it's got plenty of potential. I can see a few people that collect orcs kit bashing this. Then you get the Arclight Hybrids. I was a bit confused when they were released for pre-order, because the Arclight Hybrids, they can also make the hybrid metamorphs, and I thought that they were two separate box sets. So I'm not sure at the moment whether to build them as metamorphs or hybrids. I'd love your feedback. Put it in the comments which squad I should make. I don't know which is better. I'm assuming the metamorph might be better, but put it in the comments, and whichever one gets the most votes, I will make that squad. The price of one of these squads of 5 is £25, but I think they've got a lot of options, and you might well be able to kit bash them with your Tyranids bit box probably. Then you've got these Neophyte Hybrids. That consists of 10. They're very much similar to the ones in the Deathwatch, the Overkill box set, and that's £25 for the 10. They've got some funky looking weapons too. I think there's a net gun there, which looks cool. Then yeah, more releases. So you've got the Occult Icon Ward. He's 15 quid for one dude. I'm assuming he'll buff the whole army. We'll see. We'll have a look at in the codex, and we'll see what sort of effects he's going to have and whether he's worth that as a. It's still a cool looking miniature anyway. And then you've got a Gene Steel Occult Neophyte Hybrid squad. Bit of a mouthful. It looks like a squad of sort of normal guardsmen, but they've got sort of different heads. They look like they've got the same bodies, same hands, las guns, things like that. So it looks like there's about 3 weeks worth of releases up for pre-order now, or the weekend just gone, with the hybrids and the metamorphs, the Neophyte Hybrids, and the codex of course. And I think the dice look lovely, really nice looking dice. Lovely. So if you're a Tyranid player, then from the first you've got the Brood Coven, the Goliath, and you've got the Icon Ward, and you've also got the Cult Neophyte. And then the last week of the 3, you can pre-order the Armoured Claw, which has a Chimera in there, and a squad of Neophyte Hybrids, and also a Leman Russ. The Leman Russ doesn't look hugely different. It's got a little bit of iconography, and it looks like the tank commander has pledged his allegiance as well, because this sort of forehead's a little bit different. So maybe you get like an upgrade sprue with those parts on. Still quite a decent release. I would have liked. I heard a rumoured flyer. Where's that? I would have thought that there'd be a bigger sort of Goliath, or just a couple. I just think that there's. I love the release, and I'll support it. But I just think there's 1 or 2 extra things that they're missing. I'm not quite sure what though. But anyway, that's all of those. The Neophyte Hybrid squad is £25. That Armoured Claw is £35, and the Leman Russ is £32.50. I'm going to try and keep this video down as short as possible. The codex, it's not many pages really. It's a little bit shorter than a normal standard codex. It's just slightly over 100 pages, at 104 pages, but they're asking £30 for it. So this is your sort of standard now for a 100-page book, 30 quid. It's a lot of money that they're asking now. And then you get the cards and how to paint them. And then there's also, looks like a new model for Age of Sigmar, which is a Stormcast Errant Questor, £20. I don't know. It just doesn't scream 20 quid to me, but there we go. I don't know. I mean, if you play Age of Sigmar, you might well do. More Planet Warhammer, they're calling it for their news. You've got this Dane Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills. So you got this dude from Forge World. Obviously, he's a cousin to Thorin Oakenshield. If you watch the Hobbit films. And then I like this. They've got some new texture paints, but it's really confusing. Well, I found it quite confusing. What they've done is they've changed them. They've replaced the grit with plastic microbeads. I don't know whether that's more effective or cheaper for them to do that, but either way, you can now apply them with a brush, and then they've got texture and then heavily textured base. I think that they're both going to cost the same, £4.55, which is in the larger 24mm pots. But I couldn't really see a whole lot of difference in the labelling of them. You've got a Grelin Earth, and then you've got a Grelin Badland. So I'm sure Badland may well be the thicker, seeing as a Grelin Earth is what's out there at the moment. And you've got Martian Iron Earth and Martian Iron Crust. So again, I'm not quite sure. Crust, to me, sounds like it's not as thick as Iron Earth, but who knows? I mean, they could have just put an H for heavy, you know, texture H, and then you got heavy texture, rather than call them a completely separate, you know, thing. Well, it confused me anyway. I'm easily confused, but there you go. Then you got Warhammer 40,000 comics, which you've got Will of Iron in this magazine, and so on. So we'll go through the rest of the White Dwarf. It's so difficult to keep these videos short because there's so much. They're just jam-packed nowadays. They're releasing the Primarch's books separate now. Quite a reasonable £13, which is quite reasonable for hardback. I know it's not even 200 pages, but £13 is definitely a bit easier to swallow than 40 quid. And it's still hardback for 13 quid, not too bad. But they're obviously pushing the hardback special editions of the newer books. So the next one will be Leman Russ, and that's not even 192 pages, it's 176, and I think that'll cost you 40 quid, and that's the end of October. It basically labels all the Primarchs for you, in case you didn't know. There's a Baneblade book coming out and a Shadow Sword. I probably will get them because I love tanks, and I love battles and them going against Titans and other tanks and things like that. So there we go. And then it talks to you about the Blood Angels sort of release. They explained that the Blood Angels upgrade frame, which is 21 piece sprue, is now in all the Blood Angels box sets that were released. And here they are, look, you've got them all here. Same as before, but you just get that sprue with them all, which is all right. And then a little bit of read your letters kind of thing going on. A little bit about Titan Comics, how they're launching their comics. Talks to you about the scripts, things like that. This is a big advert for the Primarch's Leman Russ. Looks lovely, and I like the fact that the artwork replicates the model that Forge World are soon to release. And then you've got a Korrak's book, Shadow of Ullanor, which is actually book 11. I haven't even read the first one. I need to catch up. Shadow Sword, and then you've got a new audio book. Smaug, or Smorg, I call him Smaug. Absolutely lovely sort of look at him and look at the detailing. Such a lovely model. Really is a fantastic piece. Be great just to get him as a showpiece, really. Big article on Space Wolves. Lots of nicely coloured Space Wolves here. A bit more about them, a bit about a Land Raider Crusader. And it talks to you about the Force as well. And then a really nice interview with Jez Goodwin, the man, the legend. Can't wait to fully read this. Such a lovely designer, and lots of fantastic models that have just stood the test of time. He really is a credit to Games Workshop. Eldar and Space Marines, his designs well, if it wasn't for his designs, I wouldn't be making this video right now, put it that way. So there you go. Some Chaos Space Marines, Imperial Knights, and so on. And then there's just a bit of an advert about their community. They're pushing their community at the moment, which is a good thing. But they look back at a previous White Dwarf. I still think that's a good thing for them to do. Armies on Parade 2016. Have a look at this nice Skaven army. And this Chaos Warriors army too. Lovely Eldar army there. I love the blue, sort of teal colour. I think it's teal colour. And a nice Mechanicum army. Well, Mechanicum and a bit of Scutari. Start collecting box sets. Bit of advert there. Genestealer Occults, big guide on Genestealer Occults. Really looking forward to sitting down, laying down, and reading this, so that I'm sort of boned up, ready for this weekend and the releases in the next few weeks. Really lovely information. And then you've got an exclusive mission in here, and then you've got this really nice, you know, you've got the Strike Force and the Cult on a double page spread. Well, it's a 4-page spread. Absolutely fantastic. Love the way they've put the whole force like that. It's a bit tricky to sort of see them and that, but you know, I do like the 4-page spreads. And it's a full battle report between Deathwatch and the Genestealer Cult. Won't spoil it for you, obviously. You've got some Illuminations champions. Absolutely stunning artwork. Really beautiful. Really captures your imagination and motivates you to paint. This is a Slayer Sword winner for the Classic 2016. He looks real. I mean, just credit to this guy. And obviously all the rest of them. I mean, yeah, they just look absolutely remarkable, these models. A bit about Warhammer Digital, Tale of 4 Warlords. Talk to you about their armies again. Sprues and Glue, talk to you about Genestealer Cult frame. Kit Bash Goliath truck. Be cool if they do one of these for Orcs at some point. You know, if they do Kit Bash, I don't know whether they'll do that. Paint splatter, extreme edge highlighting, very extreme, more extreme than myself. And Blood Angels, helping you pick up the gold details, and even Cult of Genestealer. I mean, even to get the faces right. With the Kislev and the Flesh Shade, and then some more layers and so on. You can even put a nice little 3-fingered hand on there. More heavy metal, so quite a lot of modelling and painting there. Quite a big chunk. Probably that's setting you back 13 pages, which is absolutely fantastic. I hope they carry on with that amount of help. And then you've got Blanchitsu. So some more models sort of dedicated to the chap in his sort of style. And you got some Stormcast Eternal. Readers models, really sweet. Restless Night. Readers model of the month. Absolutely lovely Vulcan model. Warhammer World. And a bit more about the White Dwarf paint system. In the bunker, they're talking about the Silver Tower, the little models that they've been painting up. And then next month, I actually saw the front of next month's cover before this one, before I knew anything about this. The only thing I sort of knew about the Genestealer Cult was that Goliath and a couple of their box sets and things. Whereas next month, I'd seen the front cover quite a while ago, and it says straight away, Horus Heresy. Next month, when I mean next month, I mean sort of end of October, almost November, they'll be releasing, and they'll have a lot in the next White Dwarf about the new Horus Heresy box set. I think from the pictures I've seen, it's going to have plastic custodians, it's going to have Space Wolves, and it's going to have Thousand Suns. Well, at least I think it's going to have Space Wolves. It wasn't that clear, but it's definitely going to have Custodians and Thousand Suns. Looks really great. If you haven't already bought a Betrayal at Calth, they were limited, or they said that they were limited, so it might be worth picking up your final second or third box of those. But if not, and you're done with those and you've completed them, it's time to start saving for the new box set, because I think that release is going to be brilliant. And then I think maybe we'll get Sisters afterwards, but who knows. I've also read another rumour, so only a rumour, so you know, grab your salt. I've heard Games Workshop are going to be releasing the largest model that they've ever created. I've heard that it's going to be limited for just a Christmas sort of release. Immediately when I thought Games Workshop, I thought Forge World, but I think it's a kit. I think it's Games Workshop, and my money is on Imperial, because that's a favourite sort of faction. It's the most popular, and it sells the most. So I'm thinking Space Marines possibly, I'm thinking either Thunderhawk, they've finally managed to do that, or I'm thinking a Warhammer Titan. I don't know whether it's going to be a Lucius or Mars. My money's on a Mars, but I wouldn't be surprised if they release a Lucius. But failing that, I think it might be a Thunderhawk. Either that or a big scenery piece. But that's what I've heard. Nothing set in stone. So it's going to be a busy few months. You've got these Gene Stealer cults. You then got the new Horus Heresy. You'll have quite a few new releases for Forge World over the next couple of months as well, with the Thousand Suns and the Space Wolves and so on. So it's a really busy time for the hobby. It's just a build-up for the Christmas releases. And that is the end of my overview. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.